So Terry and I, we met junior high.
Yeah.
Ended up getting married May 21st, 1988.
Very good.
Got it written down. You know, like most kids fresh out of school and not going to college, it was a bit of a rough go for the first year or so.
Financially.
And, you know, there's actually some days I look back on those times and think, wow, it sure was nice and easy.
Yeah.
But, you know, once we got our feet on the ground, and 1990 was our first road trip.
Was it?
Yes, it was. It was
Wow.
up to Mount Rushmore.
Kids were 1 and 2 years
Yeah.
old, the two that we had at the
Yeah.
time.
But anyway, we've been married for that long, and we've got 3 kids. All 3 of them are adults now. We did get them kicked out of the house.
And now almost 5 grandkids.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of trips in the camper, or not just this camper, but you know, the others that we've had.
And 4 of the grandkids have been in the camper also, have been on trips in the camper. That's awesome.
How come all 5 of them haven't been?
1 is still in the oven.
Oh. Yeah, that was recording.
No, don't you use that. That would kill you.
Oh, wow.
Out here where nobody will find your body.
First few trips, major trips, like that one to Rushmore, and I think we went to Rocky Mountain National Park.
You think?
Well, without a camper. Yeah, those first few trips were without a camper. We had a tent that we camped in, but on the major trips with all the kids, we usually stayed at a hotel or a cabin.
Or a log cabin. We still had camping in our hearts. You could tell right then that
Yeah.
camping was future.
But, I mean, I don't like hotels.
No.
Not only just because you're stuck in a building, but just you're sleeping on a bed that countless other sweaty humans have slept on. If you're staying in a hotel, I apologize for that.
Well, they're campers. We can say that to them. They understand.
So, our first...
If you're not a camper, by the way, look at our walkthroughs and go buy a camper.
Go buy one. Our first camper was actually a hand-me-down from my parents. It was like a late 60s, early 70s Apache pop-up camper. It was a pickup truck bed with a canvas tent sitting on it, in essence.
And it was huge and wonderful, and bugs got in it, and no air conditioner, and it was wonderful.
It was awesome. It really was. We took it out to the Smoky Mountains and did a couple of trips with that. That was a fun, light camper. You could push that thing around the yard with one hand. A lot of fun. A lot of memories made in that one. So when we wore out that Apache tent trailer, we actually got us a large tent. Of course, we had a family of 5. It had to be a large tent. This thing was like a 4-room cabin tent, and we used it quite a bit. Took it on, well, the big trip out to Virginia, where it rained 5 of the 7 days we were there.
Yeah, rained a lot even, not just a little bit.
We used it quite a bit for a while, and then we realized that it was just taking way too long to get ready to go for the weekend, because you had to pack everything up into the back of the pickup or the van, whatever we had, and then setting up camp, you know, even with the 5 of us working together, it still took a while. And we started shopping around for fold-down camper, pop-up camper, tent camper, whatever you want to call it. And we found us a pretty awesome deal about 60 or 80 miles from the house.
Yeah, I think Chris said, would you rather get what we can afford right now or get a really nice one later? And I said, well, the kids are growing up, so let's just get a cheap one now. And then we ended up getting top of the line, biggest everything in it, because they were selling it at cost because they were getting out of the pop-up business.
Yeah, it was the largest one that Jayco Starcraft made that year, and it was nice. It was really nice. It had the shower and the little porta potty in it, and
Dining room table came out.
yeah, it had a slide on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a manual slide, but still, I mean, it opened up that pop-up
It really did.
wide. AC, I mean, that was luxury for us coming from a tent. And for the most part, we could leave a lot of stuff in that camper. It even had a trunk on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a lot we could leave with the camper. So when we wanted to go somewhere on the weekend, it still took a little bit of preparation, but we got going a lot quicker than what we could when we were tent camping. And we took that pop-up everywhere. Disney World, Rocky Mountains, Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, Smoky Mountains.
You went everywhere.
Yeah.
I think you covered, well, no, the Gulf.
Yeah, I went down to the Gulf, Port Aransas, Texas. Yeah, we took that thing everywhere, and the kids basically grew up with that pop-up camper. Well, no, basically about it. They did grow up with that pop-up camper, because after they moved out of the house, after the last one stopped going with us on lake trips, it was like an August afternoon down at Lake Murray when we decided we had had enough of setting this thing up in the heat, in the Oklahoma humidity, without the fire drill mentality of 5 of us setting it up. So we decided we're too old for this, and we went and bought us a new camper. Yeah, so when we decided that the pop-up was too much, we started shopping. And something about the tent and the pop-up, we just enjoyed that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Just, unzipping the windows and...
Feeling like you're outside in nature.
Yeah. So we looked at hybrids. And if you don't know what those are basically the beds fold out and are canvas or, some other material type covered beds. So it's like a pop-up bed on a solid bumper pole trailer. And one of the lures to this was we could keep everything in there. And at a moment's notice, we could be on the road headed to wherever.
To a point, the blankets and pillows had to come off the beds usually.
Yeah, but they were usually folded up and stayed in the camper.
Right.
So all we had to do was gather up some food and maybe some clothes, even though most of the time we had enough clothes in there to hook up and drive away without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We had that thing for a couple of years and enjoyed the heck out of it, and it went a lot of places. Like our favorite place, Rocky Mountain National Park, and it made a trip or two down to Disney World.
Yeah, if we had a camper that didn't go to Disney World or Rocky Mountain National Park, we must not have had it very long. So.
Yeah. But and as much as we enjoyed it, it started to get small. We didn't have 3 kids with us, and it started to get small. It was a 20-foot box, so when you folded out the beds, it was about 27, 28 foot long.
Well, and honestly, we were drooling over Class A's by that point.
Yeah, it has been for me a dream for decades to have a Class A motorhome with a motorcycle strapped to the back of it.
Which you've got half of that.
Got half of it.
You got the motorcycle, it's just not strapped to the back.
Yeah, so, you know, when we paid off the house, it was time to start researching and saving up a down payment.
Now that I've said that.
So after a year or so of saving up money and shopping, we ended up with a dream. It really was. I don't know that other than financial difficulties in the future, what would drive us back to not being in a Class A.
Something we drooled over at all the camping shows for years. We
Yeah.
would go in them and think, and then whenever we'd see one on the road, we'd be like, oh yeah, someday.
Actually, there would be a 4-letter word involved in that.
Shh, must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, we've been through the tent, 2 different pop-ups, a hybrid, and then we skipped the whole fifth wheel part of the process and went straight to the Class A. And happy with it.
Because we got our house paid off, so we could do that.
Yeah. But, you know, that's 30 years of camping, being together. You know, maybe I'm talking to the choir here, preaching to the choir, but our kids grew up in a camper and just, you know, at the house too, but you know, when we were on the road, we went camping. We didn't stay in hotels. We were in a camper, and
Ask them their childhood memories.
Yeah.
Is it what they got for Christmas? Is it, you know, playing? I mean, it's
Yeah.
going on vacations.
shooting a cannon, you know, just, and some of her antics are also show up.
And yours.
Mostly yours.
Okay, but and yours.
Yeah, I mean, and those kids grew up. I mean, okay, so I'm a little biased, but they grew up to be, well, 2 out of 3 of them grew up to be good kids. I won't tell you which one didn't.
So fun to think of them all trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and you know, rainy days were kind of a hidden blessing, really, looking back on it. You're stuck in a pop-up camper. You can't go outside because it's wet. Although, you know, sometimes we did because we're not the brightest candles on the cake.
We're adventurous. It has nothing
But-
to do with being bright.
You know, stuck in that camper all day with the whole family, you either get closer together or you end up killing each other, and we're still alive, so you kind of go figure which option we chose.
Most of us survived. It was that 4th kid.
And then, you know, Terry and I have had an awesome marriage, and we really have. You know, you used, back before we got married, the guys at work would say, oh, yeah, the honeymoon's over, you know, blah, 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 all that good stuff. You know what? We're still on honeymoon. We just
Best friends still.
came back from one, which you'll see next week where we were. I won't tell you. The title will probably tell you next week. So yeah, and I really feel like that our outdoors activities, our camping activities, really had a big part of all of it.
You know, I don't think the kids fought as much when we were camping as they did when we were at home.
At least not where we could see them.
They were better at hiding it, maybe.
They would go out into the woods and beat each other up.
Right. And then say, okay, packed, we're not telling Mom.
Yep. Sean fell out of a tree.
Yeah.
Twice. And then he tripped getting up. Anyway, guys, that's just a little bit of our story. I thought it'd be good to share with you. And Next week, the video will be from the state park that we just got home from. And the week after that, who knows?
I don't.
Maybe it might be a video about how Dish Network has really messed us up.
Oh, Chris recorded this while he's very angry at the Dish on the Go service.
We'll catch y'all down the trail.
Bye-bye.